Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a seriously fascinating theological argument. We're looking at what happens when you take ancient Hindu prophecies and completely reinterpret them using modern AI. Right? It's wild. So whether you're a total theology buff or you just love a good historical mystery, stick around because we are jumping right in. So, the source material kicks off with this massive, age-old mystery. Like, who exactly is the 10th avatar? In Hindu theology, Kalki is supposed to be the final avatar of Vishnu, the one who shows up at the very end of our current super chaotic age, the Kali Yuga. And honestly, if you've glanced at the news lately and thought, man, the world could really use a savior right about now, well, you could totally see why people have been desperately hunting for clues about who this is for generations. Now, traditionally, ancient texts like the Puranas are read super literally. That creates this highly specific, almost cinematic expectation. I mean, believers are literally waiting for a physical warrior to be born in a specific village called Shambhala. They expect this guy to come from a Brahmin family, actually ride a white horse named Devadatta, and swing a blazing physical sword to violently strike down evil. It's a hugely dramatic, apocalyptic picture. But here's where the explainer points out a massive contradiction. The source argues that a modern spiritual leader named Guru Siyag is actually this Kalki Avatar. But wait. How does that even work? Guru Siyag was an ordinary-looking guy. He wore glasses, looked like everybody's favorite grandfather, and came from a Jat family in Rajasthan, not a Brahmin from Shambhala. He definitely wasn't carrying around physical weapons, so if you're looking at this literally, the math just doesn't add up.
Section 1. Clues from other religions. Looking beyond the Hindu texts.
To figure this out, the video looks outward and finds this incredible historical parallel. There was another famous mystic, Sri Aurobindo, who explicitly claimed that on November 24, 1926, a supreme divine consciousness descended right into the physical realm. And here is the crazy coincidence the source points out. November 24, 1926 happens to be the exact day Guru Siyag was born. For the folks making this argument, that's not just a coincidence, it's direct historical validation. And it doesn't stop there. The source actually brings in Christian theology too, specifically the biblical promise of a comforter who's supposed to remain with humanity forever. You see, while past figures like Moses and Jesus eventually left the physical realm, the argument is that Guru Siyag fulfills this eternal comforter role uniquely. How? Well, purportedly, his photograph literally continues to awaken Kundalini energy and impart spiritual experiences even after his physical passing.
Section 2. The Avatar's Own Declaration. A personal spiritual claim.
According to the source, to really understand this, we have to look at the Avatar's own words. Guru Siyag allegedly had this profound vision where Lord Krishna passed on his divine duties. This experience forced Siyag to declare, and I quote, "Krishna was the 9th avatar. He handed me the flute and left. I am the 10th avatar." The core argument here is that humanity is basically blind to an avatar unless they come right out and explicitly reveal themselves, much like Krishna did to a skeptical Arjuna. To add a whole layer of cosmic geography, the video maps out an evolution of spiritual realms. It claims that Rama descended from a realm called Satlok, and then later, Krishna came from a higher realm known as Alak Lok. The argument goes that because humanity has sunk into the absolute darkest depths of the Kali Yuga, we needed an even higher, unprecedented energy from the ultimate realm, Agam Lok, and they attribute that exact energy to Guru Siyag.
Section 3. The Puranic Prophecy Contradiction. The Literal Text Problem.
But despite all those cross-religious parallels, the speaker admits they hit a huge roadblock: the literal Hindu Puranas. If you read those ancient texts like a future history book, you just can't reconcile a fierce warrior on a horse with a peaceful man from Rajasthan. They were totally stuck. So what do? They turned to a very modern, unconventional tool to solve this ancient puzzle.
Section 4. Decoding Symbolism with AI, using ChatGPT as a spiritual translator.
In a really fascinating twist, the source explains how they used AI, specifically ChatGPT, to decode the original Sanskrit verses. They asked it to treat the text like a highly symbolic yogic code instead of literal history. And wow, the results completely reframed the prophecy. Let's take the birthplace, Shambhala. The AI broke it down into Sham, meaning peace, and Bala, meaning place. So forget looking on a map. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a state of mind. Shambhala isn't a town, it's a peaceful, meditative state of consciousness. That is where the avatar is actually born.
Next up, the AI decoded the caste requirement.
Instead of a literal social class, the root of Brahman refers to someone who knows Brahman, the supreme divine truth. So, being born to a Brahman simply means having an internal state of divine awareness. The awakening happens within a spiritually focused person, entirely shifting this prophecy from the outside world directly into the internal one.
Even the prophesied father, Vishnu Yasha, gets a totally new meaning. It translates to possessing the glory of Vishnu. The AI interprets this not as a literal human dad, but as the pure inner devotion you need to host this spiritual awakening. It's like devotion itself is the father that gives birth to the avatar inside of you.
Okay, so how does the AI handle the most cinematic part, the white horse? Well, in yogic symbolism, a horse represents prana, or life force. The AI completely reinterpreted Devadatta, the white horse, as the sudden, incredibly powerful awakening of internal Kundalini energy. So the rider isn't some physical warrior, it's your own consciousness riding this newly awakened internal power.
And finally, that apocalyptic blazing sword. If the horse's inner energy, the sword is a spiritual weapon, think divine knowledge or chanting a specific mantra. It's designed to sever our internal ignorance and dark tendencies. The ultimate battle isn't fighting physical armies at the end of the world. It's fighting the darkness right inside the human mind.
Section 5. An inner spiritual awakening. The true meaning of the Puranas.
The source concludes that these traditional texts were actually written by mystics in a deliberately hidden language just to protect these profound inner truths. Drawing on mystical yogic philosophy, they point out a beautiful concept. Just like a drop contains the ocean, the body contains the universe. We spend so much time looking out into the world for an apocalypse, but this argument suggests the entire drama of creation and salvation unfolds completely within our own bodies.
Putting it all together, the source frames the Kalki prophecy not as some future global catastrophe, but as a step-by-step internal transformation. First, your mind becomes peaceful. Bam! You've entered Shambhala. Second, your Kundalini energy wakens. Now you're riding the white horse. Third, your inner ignorance is destroyed. You've just swung the sword. The Avatar's mission is fulfilled 100% within your own consciousness.
This unique interpretation leaves us pondering something really profound. Are the grand, earth-shattering prophecies we've been searching for in the outside world actually taking place within our own minds? It completely shifts the apocalypse from the external world right into the inner landscape of human consciousness. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning what you think you know.
Kling, Krishna, kling, 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 kling, Krishna, kling.